Guns are based. Hey, what's going on there, fellow delinquents? Mischief here, and I wanted to talk about, I made a short a little while ago talking about the Beretta with the APX and how the removable chassis with different grip modulars could actually utilize different magazines. Well, a lot of people are saying that because of manufacturers wanting to get more money from it. I honestly don't think that that's a realistic way to look at it, because manufacturers could retain magazines and not have to go to a whole entire new machining process to create new magazines. Now, here is my everyday carry. We have a P365. And let's bring it over here and show you something that I recently picked up. I have here a SIG P250. So the SIG P250 is what was the predecessor to the 320 that we know now. This one right here is a two-tone chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. And I don't have any 40 Smith & Wesson ammo, but I did end up accidentally purchasing this pistol because I put a bid down on Gunbroker and I got it for like $350. So it was a very cheap purchase, and I'm sitting here like, I've always kind of was interested in the 250. I just never picked one up. The 320s it was an okay pistol, but I didn't really like. I prefer Glocks, but the 250, I was kind of intrigued by it, and I like that the removable chassis and the ability to have like different grip modulars. It really did appeal to me that the Glock was not able to do, probably at least not yet. So now we have a SIG P250, we have a P365, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make them kith. Introducing the Amend 2. So this was originally designed for the SIG P320. And what this basically does right here is it converts your P320 from taking the P320 magazines. So here's a P320 magazine, and here's a 365 magazine. Now, obviously, like, they kind of look similar, but this one's a much smaller magazine. There's no way that that's going to actually fit up in there. There's way too much play. So this is the 40 Smith & Wesson magazine. It's a 10-rounder. But yeah, basically this is supposed to make it so that the P320s can take the 365 mag. Now, this is a 40 Smith & Wesson upper, so we're not going to use that. So I went ahead and I picked up a cheap 250 40 Smith & Wesson upper, 9mm upper, excuse me. So I went ahead and picked up a cheap 9mm upper. Now the SIG P320 did go through a couple of changes as far as the grip module, and a lot of things had to be changed, mainly around like the slide stop and everything. This same slide stop was found on the older versions of the P320, but then they went to a new version of the slide stop, and so it wouldn't fit onto the Amend 2 grip module. And as you can see, I ended up having to take some stuff off around here to even make the 250 fit. The trigger would stop right here a little bit too close, and so as you can see, I ground that away, I ground the sides away. And if any of this interests you, you can get your start in gunsmithing by visiting your local hardware store. That's where I got this Dremel. And then you too can also do some redneck science and try and see if you can make this work. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can get this to fit. So, there's your upper. There's your takedown pin. Sometimes I use this to get that started. Okay. And then we're going to go like this. Okay, that's all lined up. This is the part that I usually have trouble with, trying to get this lined up. Come on. And we are good. Okay. Now we take our 9mm upper. We slide that on there. That's not lined up. Okay, and we lock that in place. And it works. So as you can see, I did have to grind down a lot down here. I had to grind that completely off, and that trigger just barely clears, so it's not hitting over here. And you can see that I even accidentally polished a little bit of that magazine release to make it fit. So here's an empty P365 magazine. We're going to go ahead and insert that. It locks back, so this should work. However, I did have to take a lot of material off, so let me go get some gloves. Alright, we're going to start with just one round for right now. Oh dear. What am I doing with my life? Alright, see if it works. Okay. Everything looks good. That recoil was not too bad. Alright, let's go ahead and try some more. I have no idea where this is hitting, so let's see. See if I can hit that bowling pin. Okay. Hello. I am using Wolf ammunition. This is brass, so I don't know if it's because it's Wolf, but I have also read that the P250 has some issues with light primer strikes. So let's see. Okay. Another issue that I've been having is that this thing has a little bit of trouble resetting inside this grip module. It might be shooting a little bit low. Let's go paint up the steel and see if we can put a group on there. So far the only real issue I'm having is some light primer strikes, but other than that, you can also see where I tried cutting down the dust cover because the Amend 2 is meant for compact slides, and this is a subcompact slide, so it's slightly shorter. So it was overhanging a little bit more again. I tried to cut it down, I cut it a little too far. But that's not affecting the function so far. Alright, let's see if we can shoot a group. Aim center mass on that steel right there. Go take a look. This double action trigger pull takes a lot of concentration to get that, but there we go at 50 feet. That's not bad. I'll take that for iron sights in this little short sight radius, and that double action, that long double action trigger pull. That's smooth. It's smooth. That's not bad. That's my fist for comparison. I mean, if I was running an optic, maybe I could tighten that up just a little bit. This one right here, that was just a bad trigger pull. I lost my grip and I tightened up a little bit and went to the left. But other than that, like, take this out. It's like, yeah, there's a little bit of up and down vertical strain. My front sight post is right here, so it's definitely shooting low. Now, if you look at this, we have what looks to be a number 8 front sight. And I can't see a number on the rear sight, so I'm not sure. So it could be like a number 6 rear sight and a number 8 front sight. For SIG, with their 9mm to get a perfect point of aim, point of impact, you need to have an 8 front and an 8 rear. A lot of times I'll find that the SIGs will actually run their iron sights to shoot a little bit low. It's supposed to be their like combat hold, but other than that, like, the thing groups, and the iron sights are beautifully, perfectly dead center. I can't ask more from that. All right, so one last thing, I just want to do a 5-shot string at about 10 yards on that steel, and we're just going to see how fast we can run this trigger. And hopefully we don't have any light primer strikes, but I just want to see how fast this trigger runs. All right. Okay, it's 4-shot string. 4-shot string. It's a 73 for that first shot. Yep. We had an 85, a 36, a 72, and a 35. So, light primer strikes. Another issue that I'm having is as I press the trigger, as I come out, I'm not letting the trigger reset all the way. It has to come all the way out. If it doesn't come all the way out, I get a mushy trigger. So that's another big issue with double action pistols. If you don't let that trigger all the way out, you're going to get a mushy trigger and it's not going to fire. So that's a huge disadvantage for double action only pistols. But so you have to train yourself to hold back and just press each individual shot. See, it's not doing it. Yep. So it might be a problem with the chassis. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this chassis away. I basically just threw away $50 so that I can prove a point that these magazines will work with this setup. But I'm probably going to throw this away, get a subcompact chassis, grip module, and then I'm going to get some subcompact 9mm magazines. But yeah, the pistol works fine. It's very accurate. It's smooth. All right, let's go ahead and grab the P365 XL and put some rounds to it and see how we do with that. All right, P365 XL. This is my carry gun, and same distance. That first shot surprised me a little bit, but that's okay. First shot was a 49. We had a 42, a 24, 26, and a 23. So we're shooting sub-quarter seconds. Shut up. Sub-quarter second splits. So yeah, I mean, when you got a really nice trigger, this glove is really not doing me any favors. But when you got a decent trigger and a striker fire gun, and you got shorter travel, like, you're definitely going to be able to get faster splits. Also, these iron sights help a lot. This big orange front sight really makes it easy to track that front sight. So the SIG P250 had its day in the spotlight back in the 2000s, and a lot of pistols were going double action only when the trend was actually towards the striker fire pistols, and this is definitely a much better pistol. But I wanted to do this experiment mainly to prove the point that yes, other magazines can still work with the same chassis, with the same firearm. You just need to make something that actually kind of fits it and hopefully get everything together. If a Men 2 wants to do something, I mean, they could look at other chassis systems and see if they can make conversion kits so that they can take other magazines that are just as popular. But for right now, it's like, I'm definitely going to be sticking with the 365 as my everyday carry. I love carrying this gun. It's very manageable. It's very thin, very low profile, and it's a lot more comfortable to carry than this ever could be because of how thick that slide is and how thick the frame has to be to make it. But yeah, I'm probably going to pick up just a regular grip module for the P250 and make that work. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I got for you, so make sure you stay out of trouble. If you can't stay out of trouble, you didn't learn from me. Meow.